The worst thing in sports, the absolute worst thing in sports is Joe Cronin. But the second worst thing in sports, I guess, is actually losing one of your bets. And I told y'all pretty much all week to go on FanDuel, the sponsor of today's video, and take my favorite prop of the week, which was Bills minus 12.5. And of course, the Dolphins did end up covering as they only lost by 10. But that brings me to the third worst thing in sports, which is the moral victory. I absolutely cannot stand whenever somebody says, oh, that was a moral victory. And you're going to have the most optimistic Dolphins fans saying that after tonight's game. Because yes, I thought the Dolphins were going to get brutally beaten and blown out. Yes, I thought the Bills were about to do ungodly things to us. And while that wasn't quite the case, I think only losing by 10 points and having a chance to win the game at the end is actually worst case scenario. Because now the whole front office again is just gonna make excuses that they're close, that they're good enough. Because that's what we've been seeing for years, because Chris Grier is going into what? Like year 12 at this point? I know he hasn't been a GM for all of them, but he's been a GM for a hell of a long time. And he has nothing to show for it, but somehow he keeps convincing Stephen Ross that they're close, and it's because of meaningless, close games like this. This Dolphins team is nowhere near the Buffalo Bills, regardless of what the final score thinks. You even have your quarterback saying the same things. Tua was real loud and optimistic in training camp and in preseason, saying, show me the money after getting paid, talking like he's done something in this league, talking like he's even come close, sniffed the playoff win in his career, talking about show me the money, which at the time, I'm not going to lie and be a hypocrite, I kind of liked it. I was happy for him. While I wasn't the biggest Tua Tagovailoa fan or not even necessarily a huge believer in him, I do feel like he's a great guy, and I was happy he secured a life-changing contract for him and his family. I was, and I didn't care that he wanted to celebrate at the time. But looking back now, it looks stupid. Especially to get back to my previous point where just yesterday, or I think a couple days ago, whatever, when he was being asked in a press conference, he literally admitted that he cannot do half of the things that Josh Allen can do. Who says that? You're about to compete against the man and you're out there in the public admitting that you're not even half as good as he is? Oh, that's a long ways away from the preseason. Show me the money. But now that you actually have to go onto the football field and play games, and now you have to do more than just talk. Now you're out there in the press conference being all scared, sounding all scared. I'm not saying Tua should have went out there and disrespected Allen or even said that he's on par with him. But you don't say that. You don't admit that he's much better than you. We all know it, though. Everybody seems to know it, except for Chris Grier and I guess to a larger extent, Stephen Ross. I'm not one of those Dolphins fans that likes to put all the blame on Tua, because I think everybody needs to go. And literally everybody. I understand today wasn't Mike McDaniel's worst day. I understand the defense was okay in that second half. They did force 3 straight punts for the Buffalo Bills until Zach Sealer, one of the biggest fat cats ever, add him to the list with Duncan Robinson. My guy, Dunkyard Dog. No disrespect, Duncan. I hope you have a great year in Detroit. But Hassan Whiteside, who y'all know is my guy. But add Zach Sealer to the Hassan Whiteside list of guys who got paid and then became ass afterwards. Running into the punter, you got a chance to get the ball back and take the lead, and you running into the punter? I respect the effort from the team captain. I really do. And I love Zach Sealer. Come on, we know it's y'all know Tobin's my guy. To Sealer it on up. Well, this season it's been Sealer it on down, except his bank account. His bank account's going all the way up. That's what Sealer's on up. But everything else is down. Sack numbers, tackle for loss, I guess dumb penalties, that's going up after that stupid roughing the kicker late in that game today. But I don't even want to talk anymore about Zach Sealer right now. We'll get into him more later. Because regardless of all of that, regardless of everything that happened, Tua Tagovailoa had a chance with a few minutes to go to tie this game up for the Miami Dolphins. And I don't care that he had some beautiful throws on third down that drive, couple nice plays to Waddle. I don't care that he had a great play earlier where we saw him finally use his feet a little bit, scrambled, had a beautiful pass to Tyreek Hill. I don't care that he was having a relatively efficient game up to that point, because when the game was on the line, once again, you did what you always do, and that's turn the ball over. That's exactly what you did. Tua turned the ball over. One of the greatest nicknames in sports. So I don't care. I don't want to say I don't care. I care what Zach Sealer did. I care that Mike McDaniel in general is a bum. I care that the offensive line sucks. And yes, Tua got a lot of pressure on that third down because the right guard is trash. I understand those things. But when it comes down to it, Tua time and time again is always making a mistake. Always. And people will say, then what about that game versus Arizona or that game versus Baltimore, which I actually think was like 3 years ago to the day, today or something like that. And I understand all those things. And this is the point that I heard my guy, I think TD Fintalk, y'all know my guy who's probably the biggest Dolphins YouTuber out there right now. I love his stuff. And he said the Dolphin stands will pull examples from years ago as to why Tua can actually perform down the stretch. But what you have to realize is those are from years ago. There's maybe 3 or 4 times in Tua's career where he's made the big play down the stretch, and every other time it hasn't happened. Where good quarterbacks like Josh Allen are making game-winning plays 4 to 5 times a year. And maybe Tua has 5 in his entire career. And I thought that was beautifully said by TD Fintalk, I believe his name is. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Because that's what Tua does. As soon as there's a little bit of pressure, as soon as it's prime time or in Buffalo or in the cold, he always folds time and time again. And the reality is you can't win a quarterback. You can't win with a quarterback like that. And maybe the reason is that Tua had all the success to start his career, at least in the Mike McDaniel era, where they really built this offense around him, is because it was new. It was exciting. It was all this trickery. And the defenses haven't had a time to figure it out yet. And Tua's play style is based off of anticipation. It's always the first read, and if the first read goes great, Tua looks awesome. But as soon as you have a couple years, into that system, as soon as defenses start to understand this trickery, they can now prepare for that trickery, and they can prepare for the anticipation that Tua has, and they can prepare to shut off Tua's first reads in the middle of the field. And how is Tua going to adjust to that? All the time we see these players come out their first year, even rookies in the NBA, and they have these great first seasons. But we really know how good you are. It's truly a sign of how great a player is if they can sustain that success once the defense catches on, once they get a feel for the scouting report. And Tua has shown nothing since defenses have been able to figure it out, because he's still a one-read quarterback that relies on anticipation, and God forbid one small tiny thing goes wrong, he's turning the ball over down the stretch, just like we saw today, and just like we see time and time and time again. That's the problem with him. And then the Tua stands will say, but the offensive line gave out. This player didn't catch the ball. It was a bad play call by McDaniel. But how is it that it's always somebody else's fault? Always. There's too many instances where Tua's throwing these turnovers or throwing these interceptions late in games, in clutch drives. There's always these times where he's taking sacks, throwing the ball out of bounds, and it's just a coincidence that it's always somebody around him. How is it possible that it's always someone around him if he's the one making the mistake? How is that possible? And it's because it is Tua Tagovailoa's fault for the most part. And again, I'm not one of those Dolphins fans that's putting all the blame on him, because this whole team sucks. I want to make that very clear, because I don't like those Dolphins fans that just pile on Tua either and say, I don't care about the defense. The defense today, they made 3 big stops in the second half today. I mean, yes, that is true, but they were also dog water in the first half. Okay, so I'm not excusing the defense. Let me make that very clear. Okay, I'm not excusing Tyreek Hill for dropping a third down bomb off a beautiful pass from Tua either. I'm not excusing that. Everybody needs to be better. But the reality is I'm going so strong on Tua Tagovailoa because he is the highest paid player, making $250,000 a year. Or not quarter. What's it? A quarter of $100 million a year? What's he getting? Was it like $50 million a year? I don't even remember how much he's getting paid because I can't even count that high. How about that? That's how much money Tua is making. I can't count that high. So when you're getting paid but like that, you're the guy who has to take the blame. Oh, man, I hate moral victories, man. I wish they would have just killed us early on. Oh, God, I wish they would have killed us. Because, I got my hopes up so late into that game, like I always do. It's nobody's fault but mine. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me a million times over the last 15 years, which the Dolphins have been doing. Shame on me, okay? It's my fault. It's my fault I continue to believe in the Dolphins. Not that I thought they were going to win today. Lord knows I went on FanDuel and took about 100 different bets on different Josh Allen props. Most of them did not hit, by the way, because Josh Allen today only finished with 213 yards, so statistically he wasn't great. But he was still 22 of 28, 3 touchdowns, no turnover. So he was awesome. There's a million levels separating Josh Allen and Tua. So what Tua said was accurate. I don't like it in the press conference that he admitted he's much worse than Josh Allen, but he acknowledged it. How ridiculous is that the quarterback himself is telling you that he sucks, and then yet the front office still pays him. They still believe in him. Oh, this was worst case scenario for the Miami Dolphins because all these bums who deserve to get fired today after an absolute blowout are going to keep their jobs on another week, and that's what this season's become now. At 0-3, the Miami Dolphins have no shot to make the playoffs, and now it's just about Mike McDaniel keeping his job, which, it's going to be a long season as a Dolphins fan, having to watch that garbage. Oh, it really is. What's that dumb thing McDaniel did 2 years ago where he, changed all the clocks to 24 because that's how long it's been without a playoff win? Well, now it's what, 25? It's about to be 26? Go update those clocks, Mike McDaniel, with the dumbass press conferences in here. Oh, we're going to expect the unexpected. Idiots. That's what this whole team is idiots. I got a bunch of notes here. We can run through them real quick. The Dolphins actually got the ball first drive of the game and shocked us all. Moved the ball right down the field. Malik Washington had a nice catch and run to get inside the 10. But then there was an illegal man downfield. First one of the game. That's got to, because there was 2 of them. That's got to be the penalty that pisses me off the most. Illegal man downfield. How undisciplined is this team that you got these fat guys always running too far down the field? It's the most avoidable penalty. Illegal man downfield. But because the entire coaching staff's a bunch of bums on a week-to-week basis, they don't have this team prepared. So that Malik Washington nice run was called back. However, the Dolphins were able to overcome it. And shout out to my guy Ollie Gordon, who really is having an impressive start to his career so far, not statistically or nothing. But when he gets these chances to run, on these short yardage situations, he always impresses. And he had a really good game today. Got his first touchdown on the first drive as he was able to power it in. He looks like he's going to be a fun watch for a lot of years. Ollie Gordon is certainly a positive. But then on the ensuing Bills drive, they would answer super easily off of James Cook, because James Cook and Josh Allen basically were doing whatever they want to go down the field. But then Josh Allen had a touchdown pass to Kincaid, which tied it at 7. And then the Dolphins would go 3 and out. So here we are thinking, okay, Dolphins had one nice cute little drive to get us all hype. And here we go with the dumbassery. 3 and out because on that third down, Tua bobbled, which was an absolutely perfect snap. Looking like his eyes were too wide out there. Oh, the Thursday night football versus the Bills. I'm so scared. Let me fumble this perfect snap. Bum. That's the guy they're paying hundreds of millions of dollars, whatever it is. I can't count that high. Anyways, that would take us into the second quarter. The Bills would score again with ease. Josh Allen, my God, he's so good, man. Damn, I'm jealous watching him play. I'll admit it. I'm jealous the Bills have Josh Allen. He threw a dime to Kincaid, which was dropped. But then a couple plays later, he had a beautiful flip pass to their third string tight end for the touchdown. And it's like Josh Allen is amazing. They have 3 tight ends that could score because their third tight end caught this touchdown. The Dolphins don't even have 1 tight end. They don't even have 1. Darren Waller, anybody seen him? Yeah, I think he's over there hanging out with Will Fuller and Odell Beckham Jr. That's where Darren Waller's at, freaking bum. Where are we at here? The Dolphins will go 3 and out once again, back-to-back drives. And then the next Bills drive, shout out to Bradley Chubb. I could say he's another positive this season, although the D-line as a whole has been very unimpressive. I think Chubb has had a sack in every game this year, had one on this drive to force the Bills to take a field goal, which I actually missed. So it was 14-7 with the Dolphins getting the ball back. So we were looking at a game early on. It was unfortunate, though, that Jason Marshall, the cornerback for the Dolphins, goes down with a hamstring injury and he would not return. Obviously, the Dolphins were short on cornerback coming into this season. They already lost Storm Duck, I think, in week 1. Now they lost Jason Marshall. that secondary is just getting worse and worse. But I think Rasul Douglas has actually been okay. And Jack Jones, he has a couple of bonehead plays, but he also had some impressive ones today too. So they're very thin in the cornerback room. It's not those guys' fault that they suck. The Dolphins just really didn't even try to get anybody good. But at least shout out to Jack Jones and Rasul Douglas for holding it down slightly for now. It's not like Josh Allen torched them from deep today. But then on the next Dolphins drive, they had converted a 3rd and 1 with Ollie Gordon. It's nice to see the Dolphins continue to use him in those situations. After years of not being able to convert 3rd and 1, they seem to have it figured out this year. So shout out to Ollie Gordon. On the next series, Tua does a great job to escape the pass rush and converts a huge 3rd and 12 off a scramble. He threw across his body right on the money to Tyreek Hill. And I'm thinking, damn, okay, Tua, I'm giving you some credit here. After looking like the lights were too bright, bobbling the snap, just a hell of a play to scramble, and then they get that pass to go to Hill. And then on another 3rd down, Tua scrambles again for a 1st down, using his legs this time, slides right past the sticks. All around perfect play by Tua there. He didn't take the hit, slid after the 1st down play. You love to see it. And then he would finish it with a perfect pass to Jalen Waddle. Waddle was waddling. It takes me back to 2023 where I used to get up and do the Waddle dance after every touchdown. Good times, man. Good damn times. But that would tie it up at 14 with 18 seconds left in the half. So Dolphins ran that 2 or 3 minute offense to perfection. To start the second half, the Bills will go right down the field, but the Dolphins did get a sack on Josh Allen near the goal line on 2nd down. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe they can hold him to a field goal again. Oh, wait a minute. That was wiped away because Jordan Brooks had to do unnecessary roughness after tackling Josh Allen after the whistle. It's nice. It was nice when Christian Wilkins used to punch Josh Allen in the nuts and he'd get away with it a little bit. But it's like, you can't do that, Jordan Brooks. You so obviously tackled Josh Allen after the refs are blowing the whistle for like 15 seconds. Oh my, and it's like, this is a captain. This is a captain we're talking about. The highest paid player at Captain Tua is turning the ball over. Your other captain, Zach Sealer, making bonehand plays. Your other captain, Jordan Brooks, unnecessary roughness. Just avoidable things. I don't know. This whole team's a dumpster fire. James Cook would end up punching it in for the Bills to put them up 21-14. The Dolphins will go 3 and out. That time, I don't think it was Tua's fault because Tua actually threw a pretty nice bomb to Hill in double coverage. It was great ball placement, though. Hill got both hands on it. Should have caught it. That one's on Tyreek Hill. But it didn't matter too much because the Dolphins would actually force the Bills to go 3 and out themselves, and the Dolphins then would get the ball back and not take advantage of it because they would go 3 and out again. So basically 3 straight 3 and outs between both teams. But then the Dolphins defense would hold actually again. Wasn't a 3 and out. They would give up only 1 first down. So the Dolphins defense would get the ball back with a drive that would take us into the 4th quarter. Ollie Gordon took a 2nd and 1, like 15 yards, powering through tackles. Continues to be impressive. And then one of our only tight ends, Tanner Connor, actually caught a nice 12-yard play to help move the chains. But it was wiped away because there was another illegal man downfield. This time it was Savai Naye, the rookie. I think he was 2nd round pick for the Dolphins on the offensive line. He's been terrible, to put it lightly. I know he's one of the worst rated offensive linemen in the entire league. I know a lot of people who know more than me are saying try not to blame him. It could take time for that position to kind of learn the in and outs. And I get it, so I don't want to be too hard on him because he's a rookie. But it would have been nice if the offensive lineman that you draft early wasn't one of the worst in the league. And at the very least, if you can't block, you can't block. But at the very least, know not to run 5 yards past the line of scrimmage and ruin this great play by the Dolphins with the illegal man downfield penalty. That's just stupidity. It is. And I was looking forward to watching him play too. I thought he would go out there and protect his Hawaiian brethren and Tua Tagovailoa. But no, he kind of stinks. Anyways, the Dolphins were actually also able to overcome that. They ran a pretty cool trickery play on 3rd and 14 where they threw it to Malik Washington. He lateral to Achane. That set up a 4th and 4. Kind of cool to see the Dolphins get back to some trickery because we don't see too much of the actual trick plays anymore. Like, remember years ago, they had the punter to kicker touchdown, and I don't know. They should do more of it. Y'all suck, so at least make it more enjoyable. And then that would set up the 4th and 4. They would convert with a pass to Waddle, and then the Dolphins would finish that drive with a great play to Tyreek Hill. Beautiful route by Tyreek, beautiful dot by Tua. He was actually under a little bit of pressure, but Tua would get that to tie it up, Tyreek would get that touchdown to tie it up at 21, 12 minutes to go. Did a couple of backflips too to celebrate, so we're all feeling all good. The Dolphins looking like they would force another punt, and this is the time where Sealer roughs the kicker. And it's a damn shame that it wasn't just running into the kicker, because that would have been a 5-yard penalty, would have still been 4th and 2 for the Bills. But no, he roughs the kicker. Again, I appreciate the effort. But as a team captain, you gotta know you just need the ball back. The Dolphins offense is cooking. You're actually gonna give them the ball back with a chance to take the lead. That's all we wanted. That's all the offense was praying for. And you got it. All you had to do was not sell out for the block. The block in that spot is not as important as just getting the ball back. And he had no chance. It's not like he was this far away from tipping the ball. He wasn't even close. Boneheaded play by Zach Sealer, who's done nothing since getting paid. And then the Bills would obviously end up getting the first down, and they would take advantage going right down the field. This time it was Josh Allen to Shakir to put the Bills up 28-1. And then this is where we had the Dolphins' final drive. Looked like Tua was cooking. A couple of huge first downs to Jalen Waddle. I'm starting to give him credit, saying, okay, rough first 2 weeks, but he's bounced back today in a big game, big time moment. I'm so ready to give him all the credit in the world. And then he telegraphs his pass like he always does. He's under a little bit of pressure and throws it right to the Bills defender. Dolphins defense could have got a couple of stops to get a chance to get the Dolphins the ball back. There was actually a holding on the Bills to make it 2nd and 14 for them. All the Dolphins had to do was not give up 14 yards in 2 plays. And then they give up like 20 on the next play to the Bills. That would essentially be the dagger. And then they would eventually kick a field goal to go up 10 with 20 seconds left. So that was the game today. Very, very annoying one. And I would go as far to say it was worst case scenario to have a close win. Running through some stats today. Tua, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Achane actually was okay today, 62 rushing yards, 5 per carry. And then we talked about Ollie Gordon as well, 38 rushing yards from him. And then pretty much all the receivers, under 50 yards. Nobody had over 50 yards. So nothing too impressive there. And then I think, Terrell Dodson had a sack and Bradley Chubb with another sack today. And then on the Bills side, Josh Allen, 213 yards. James Cook had 108 and a touchdown. He was kind of unstoppable, which is, again, very disappointing considering the D-line was supposed to be a strength of this team. And James Cook is just running up the middle, doing whatever he wants. But it is what it is. I think best case scenario now for the Dolphins is they lose out and take whoever the hell the best quarterback is in college football right now. I'm not exactly sure who that is. Anyways, the next game for the Dolphins, oh God, it's another primetime game. It'll be on Monday Night Football versus the New York Jets. Jets suck, but Tua is ass on primetime. So we'll see which worst team can pull out a win. I love the Dolphins. I will never root against them. Can't say I'll be mad if they lose that one at this point because at 0-3, the season is cooked. Good news is basketball season is only a month away where you can still bet on the Miami Heat to make the playoffs. Just go on FanDuel where their odds have actually gotten better. Last video, I told y'all that the Heat were minus 110 to make the playoffs, and currently they're at minus 106 on FanDuel, so the odds are actually getting a little bit better. So I definitely recommend going in now because there's no way the Heat miss the playoffs, right? You can get them at minus 106 to make it. I think those are good odds. Either way, I'm hyped for NBA and NFL season, I'm hyped for NBA season and NHL season to return because I got to stay tuned into my Panthers, who, by the way, the Hurricanes just announced that Matthew Tkachuk is going to be the celebrity picker at College Game Day. And then some other related news. I'm going to go to the Hurricanes game this weekend versus the Florida Gators. That Hard Rock crowd has been rocking. So I definitely feel like I got to take advantage of it. It's going to be a great time. So I'll be at the Gators game. If anybody's there, come say what's up. I'm going to be sitting in the cheapest seats possible because it was still almost $200 because, it's a big time game. And College Game Day is on UM's campus. So I might actually pull up to that too. So if any of y'all are at College Game Day, come find me. Come say what's up. And it'll be cool to see Matthew Tkachuk there as well. Although he has no ties to the University of Miami, He's actually from Notre Dame, so I don't love that part, but he's still a huge star and, of course, beloved down here, so he'll be cool to see. But anyways, that's all I got to say for this video. Make sure y'all like and subscribe because the support is greatly appreciated, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out, everyone.
Look, pull up in your city tryna get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.